Hey guys, in this video, I have my friend Eric and his girlfriend on telling their story of how they met about a year ago online, him in the US, her in the Philippines, Philippines being closed. They had no way of meeting. And he went to Costa Rica and now she is in Costa Rica. Now we're going to hear their story. Stick around. All right, Eric, I appreciate you coming on and letting me interview you and your girlfriend. I know your girlfriend's a bit shy, but we'll maybe get a quick appearance from her later. But I appreciate you coming on and let me get your story today.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here. I've watched your show for a long time.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And we've actually become friends over, we haven't met in person yet, but I would say we've known each other now over a year, right? Well over a year, I think.
Yes.
About that,
yeah. And that's
So,
well, when I actually started with your channel, I was looking into scuba diving and trying to figure out that, and I stumbled upon the Philippines. And then while I was going through videos of the Philippines, your channel came up, and it just went from there.
And you were bored and you had some time on your hands and you watched my channel.
That's the pandemic.
Yeah. So I want to start off with right at the beginning. When did you first start chatting with your girlfriend? When did you meet? Was it last year or was it this year?
It was actually the beginning of this year. January 5th is the first time we talked. And right from the beginning, it was very easy to talk to, and it just kind of clicked.
And you met through Christian Filipina, right?
Yes, actually, when going through your videos, I used your link and went to Christian Filipina.
Yeah, and I always tell people that's probably the most expensive one. There are free ones out there, but I think that they probably do the best job at kind of weeding out some of the scammers and things like that. And mostly what's there is good quality girls, and it worked for you. So
yes, it did. They do more than that. Also, they also contact you and kind of help you set up, and they'll do like a second opinion where they'll call and talk to the person and make sure everything fits. And what the story you hear is the story they tell to the Christian Filipina. So they do a good job, and they keep in contact with you, let you know what's going on, and they have other things that you can buy, other things you can add on as far as like a counseling session and stuff like that. Yeah, so it works out pretty well. I did have a couple people that I talked to, a couple Filipinos that I talked to before that one of which was nice, but we just did not connect. And then a couple others that were in desperate situations. So you know how it is with the pandemic is.
Yeah. And your girlfriend is how old, if you don't mind me asking?
She's 32.
32. And you are, I want to say, in your 43. 43?
42.
Yeah, still a young guy. And especially if you come to the Philippines, you're considered young compared to because most people here are like retirement age. So, but you guys chatted and you were really just waiting for the Philippines to open, and it hasn't happened. I really think it's going to happen around the beginning of next year or so, but we'll see. But you didn't want to wait any longer. She didn't want to wait any longer, and you just thought it was you would find some different way of meeting in person, huh?
Yes. We had talked for quite a bit, and we decided that we did want to meet before, because they just kept delaying. Every 2 or 3 weeks they update and say, oh, okay, it's another 2 or 3 weeks, and then it's another 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Eventually we decided we need to make a move and step up. So we did. I kind of went into it rather ignorant with the whole process, and it was quite a lengthy and difficult process getting everything together, getting all the signatures and all the paperwork done.
Now, before we get into that, no, you decided on Costa Rica. Was it for the reason of you guys meeting, or was it just because you were looking for some place to hang out and
Well, I had actually I have my house up for rent, and put my house up for rent, and I was planning a year vacation, and I was at the time, as I said, I was quite ignorant. I thought that she'd be able to travel with me and go from country to country.
Sure.
But that's before I understood passport strength and stuff like that, and just the difficulty of the process. So now we plan on staying in Costa Rica for another 45 days. And then if things go well, we'll go back to the Philippines and I'll spend time there.
After 45 days,
Yes, 45 days together.
If the Philippines is open, is that what you mean?
Yes, either that or depending how it goes, we'll get married and go through that process to go over there.
Okay, awesome. So you so Costa Rica, and so tell me about the paperwork now. What was all the paperwork that you had to do? I know it's lengthy.
Yeah, it was quite a bit. There's a thing called an AOS, which is affidavit of support and guarantee. So you have to fill that out. We went through a group, Costa Rica, what was it? Costa Rica support group. It's a Facebook group and it's very helpful. It was probably one of the key things that got us through all the paperwork and what had to be done. So on there, they tell you exactly what needs to be done. And they do have sort of a form that you can download. They're just people that had done it before and had passed. So you're able to take their information and make sure you have all the information in it, and you just add in the stuff that pertains to your situation. So that's what we did. So it's ASO, which is Affidavit of Support and Guarantee. That helps you to get a CFO, which is the Certified Commission
Overseas.
There we go. Commission on Filipino Overseas. That includes a very rigorous and invasive interview that she had to go through. Beyond that, you have to get letters from friends or family, recommendation letters written, and all of this. Most of these things have to be either notarized, or for the AOS, you have to get it either apostilled in the U.S., which is usually done by the Secretary of State. Or I did it here in Costa Rica, and I went to the consulate in San Jose, Philippine consulate in San Jose, and they do the authentication there. So went and got that and sent it out. So it's quite a process. And then she also has to get a Cinemar. I am divorced, so I had to show my divorce papers.
Yep. And Cinemar, just for those who don't know, is a certificate showing that she's not married, basically, right?
Good. Actually, she just brought up the list. Okay, so it's AOS, authenticated in Costa Rica, a bank statement of myself and her, proof of income for me. She has home, land and home in the Philippines, so she has to show the land title and house bills.
Okay.
She's a student, so she had to show those credentials for that. And her passport and a handwritten invitation letter.
Your passport.
And the passport stamp showing that I was in Costa Rica. The birth certificate for her son, the Cinemar, a handwritten proof of relationship written by me, also notarized, the reference letters, travel insurance, the travel itinerary. Basically every day or at least every week has to be written down what you're going to be doing, showing the hotel or Airbnb, basically accommodations for each one. And everything has to be paid for, or showing that it's paid, a receipt for it. And then the travel insurance, you used to have, Costa Rica used to have a specific COVID insurance rider on there that showed that it covered it. That isn't anymore, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
And her mother had to write a consent letter, and she made a very beautiful scrapbook, and that's about it. And then, you also have to show that she has money in her account, so that in case something were to happen, she has backup money.
Is there a minimum amount, or was there a set amount that at least she needed it?
What is it?
50,000.
About 50,000.
50,000 pesos, so about $1,000 US.
Right around there. Yes, it's not written specifically, so it's kind of better to get more or have more in there.
Sure.
Not have to worry about it.
Okay. Now, if you don't mind, how much approximately does this with a plane ticket and all this stuff and money in her bank? What kind of?
The plane ticket was the biggest thing. I had waited because you don't know what's going to go on, and you could get rejected at any point and have to start over. So I didn't want to get the plane tickets too early. I should have, because they went from about $1,500 round trip I ended up paying about $3,600 round trip for her to fly back and forth. They're now running at the very low end, about 36 and up to about 6,000 for a round trip. It's I think it's because of the limited flights that are allowed into Philippines right now. Because the flight leaving the Philippines was only about $900, $800, but coming back it was very expensive, between $2,600 and $2,800. So
Wow. So, you know, if you get married now, you know, this has to count for your honeymoon because you spent that much money. Honeymoon
Yeah.
checked. Yeah, already done. So,
Yeah.
well, that's a lot. And how about the time frame from the beginning to end? How long did it take you to kind of start this paperwork and kind of get to where you're at now?
July.
We started in July. And we only got the okay. I had been here a month. I got here on August 15th, and it was about September 15th when things actually started to gel and come together, and her had her interviews and things like that. So it was a long process.
We start
Okay.
during the
Yeah.
July.
You want to say something?
Yeah, let's just a quick hello, so we know that she's actually real, and you hello.
Hi.
How are you? I've heard a lot of great things about you, and I know Eric's been super excited. So it's good to see that you guys are finally together.
Okay.
I know, Shy. That's a Filipina trait.
Yes, it does seem to be.
But very beautiful. Congratulations, Eric, and I'm happy to see you guys are together. So real quick, so you finished all the paperwork, the time frame, you guys are together, and how did it feel like? Did you picked her up at the airport?
Yes.
Was it kind of surreal?
Yeah, it was. And here in San Jose, you're not allowed in the airport, so we're all lined up in 6 feet apart, separated. And I had gotten there way early, about an hour and 45 minutes early, so I had to stand and wait. I was hoping to be able to go inside and meet her at the check-in luggage like in the US, but it's of course different here. So when I saw her, I was amazed because she's more beautiful in person than even on video. And I kind of dropped the ball, and she still is talks about it. I was supposed to film it, and when I saw her, my phone almost fell out of my hand. I was in shock. I was very happy, and I was kind of stunned. So I didn't film it. So I still hear about it in a nice way.
You'll have to do it all over again then.
Yes, yeah, reenact it.
Reenact the whole thing. Yeah. So she's only been there now, what, a few days, right?
Yes.
How long?
3 days. 3 days.
Yeah. Were either of you worried at any point that she might be offloaded, like at the airport? Was that like
every single day? Every single day. Even if you go through the CFO process, and that makes it so the interview is done beforehand, the very harsh interview where they ask very coming from a US perspective, it's very invasive, and our privacy is much they are very intrusive.
Right.
But she went through it like a champion. I had no problems. So we got through the CFO.
Excellent.
And that makes you don't have to do it at the at the actual airport for immigration. But they
okay.
still have the right to offload you, even with the CFO, even with everything in order. They can still offload you. They have carte blanche. They can pretty much do whatever they want. Immigration. They don't like, if they're having a bad day, they can come up with a reason to offload you. So every day you're worried about that offload process. I made sure the tickets were covered by insurance. So it wasn't about cost. It was just about more delay, more delay, more delay.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic story. So just real quick, you'll be in Costa Rica 45 days. And at that point, everything goes great. You'll get married. You can get married there physically in Costa Rica. And then I guess you have to apply for a Balikabayan visa to get into the Philippines then? I don't think you can just fly right in, right?
You have to register the marriage in the Philippines first and verify that goes through. Am I saying this right?
Okay.
And then after it's verified, you can go ahead and bring your paperwork with you. And as long as she's with me, we can walk through together and go through the process. But again, it's a lot of steps. You have to go through each one. And the Costa Rica travel travel support group really did help out a lot. I couldn't
So-
recommend it more highly.
So you could potentially be here in a couple of months in the Philippines.
Yes, it is possible.
So-
Well, everything aligns.
And then you guys will fly down to Cebu and we'll hang out and grab a cup of coffee.
Yes, do some scuba diving.
That's
That'd be
right.
fantastic.
Sounds good. Well, again, congratulations, guys. Thanks for sharing your story. I think it's I love hearing stories like this instead of the, breakups and things like this. These are the stories that I like to hear. So that's fantastic. And I hope to be grabbing a coffee with you guys and doing some scuba diving. And I'll introduce my girlfriend to your girlfriend and we'll all hang out.
That sounds great. That'd be very, very nice.
Congrats again. I'll see you guys. And I appreciate you coming on the show. See you, Eric.
All right. Thank you, Gio.